The head and the heart. There's many reasons why this is the subject I'm kind of most interested in traveling with today. Before I dive in, I want to just remind you about the sky. Hey, Will, thanks for that message you sent. It's something I saw when I woke up, and I saw the picture you took of Moon and Venus, and I was like, oh, I gotta get outside and receive this. and I did, and it was wonderful. Tomorrow, especially, tomorrow being Thursday, Jupiter's Day, November 9th, 2023, Moon and Venus, they will have a very close conjunction. In fact, for some of the world, this will be an occultation, where Moon will literally be seen occulting or hiding Venus from the earthly eyes, just for a short amount of time as Moon passes Venus by in our sky. Now, this will happen during daytime. We won't see it here where I live, even though Moon and Venus will be above the ground, and it has to do with what's called parallax. All right, so let's just say if I'm on this place on the earth, here's Moon occulting you from my eyes. But if I'm down here, surprise, I can see you now. If I'm up here, I can see you now, you see. So it really depends on where on Earth you're looking from when we're talking about the Moon, because Moon is actually close enough to Earth to give us this experience of parallax. Right, if you do this and just look at your finger shifting against the backdrop, you're experiencing parallax. Moon's a lot further from your face than your finger at arm's length, but Moon is actually close enough to Earth that there's a significant distance between the geocentric. There's a significant difference between the geocentric or Earth-centered distance to Moon and the topocentric or Earth's surface distance to Moon, hence what's called parallax, and hence our experience of Moon in the local sky is actually very significant to the place on Earth that you are gazing from. Now, most of us are going with geocentric or Earth-centered measurements in astrology, which might sound kind of illogical, right? Like I was born in Boston, Massachusetts, not at the center of the Earth. Maybe you were, but I probably not. If you were born at the center of the Earth, let's kick it. I really like to know how you work and what your general philosophy of life is. Especially if you were raised there at the center of Earth. Now, that we measure not from the surface where we reside and can witness these heavenly happenings in the sky with our eyes, but rather from the center of Earth. There's some beautiful things there. First of all, at the center, we are all one. Yeah, at the center, there are no borders. That would say that you and I are different kinds of beings, or raise us eating different cuisines and speaking different languages, maybe praying in different ways. And from an astronomical point of view, let me just say that they're at the center of the Earth. Again, we're all one. If you would, please raise your hands to the sky with me, right above your head. Point to the zenith. All right, so you're pointing to a different star than I am. But come down through your spine and meet me in the middle. Right there, we are all one. And it's that place, the center of Earth, geocentric, that we measure geocentric astrology from. And look, we're actually not even measuring our experience of the planets and the signs. We're measuring our experience of Earth's experience of the planets in the signs. Now, when it comes to planets in the houses, that's very much a surface, local thing, right? So above and below, the particular and the whole, and we want to honor both, right? Think globally, act locally. Anyway, so if you're in Europe, if you're in Israel, some other spaces, Moon will visibly occult Venus tomorrow. It's like eclipse Venus in the tropical sign of Libra. right at the West Equinox point. Why do I call 0 Libra the West Equinox point? Because it is literally this place where the ecliptic, the plane of the year, crosses the equator, the plane of the day, southward. That point is due west of the center of Earth, right? Not of California where I am, or who just signed on, Timbuktu where you are. Our experience of the western sky is different right now, right? For some of you it's night and you're watching stars set. For me it's day and I just see a beautiful mountain in that way. But from the center of the Earth there is a north. It's defined by Gaia's spine, the sword of our stone, the world tree, our rotational axis. As is south, and therefore as is global east and west. And global east is 0 tropical Aries, this place where the ecliptic passes over or crosses the equator here. Oh, I use those words very intentionally, right? So the northern crossing of the equator, the plane of day by the ecliptic, the plane of year is 0 tropical Aries, the Earth's zodiac, Earth astronomy, Earth astrology. Speaking of Earth astrology, before we talk a little bit about head and heart, let's have a little experiment, please. Would anyone here live please write your sun, moon, rising sign? I like this from Amara. Real question is, were we really ever born? Well, what is a birth? I would say yes, and then the question becomes, what is being born? Okay, so Lucy learns life. What a wonderful name. Pisces sun, Scorpio moon, Gemini rising. Lucy's learn life. Did you begin learning life in the northern hemisphere, or were you born there, or the southern hemisphere? Or would you just write your birthplace also, please? Right, and thanks everyone for playing. And I should have asked for birthplace, because if it's northern versus southern hemisphere, this is going to come through in a different way. And so many folks are willing to play. That's wonderful. Thank you. All right, well, Lucy's learn life. I'm going to assume northern hemisphere. And if I'm wrong, we'll just go in the other direction. So Pisces sun, Scorpio moon, Gemini rising. And they play Here Comes the Sun. For in this last month of the winter, here at midday, the sun on high illuminates these first flowers who announce the coming of the spring. We feel a draw towards the west where the moon has just set, pulling the waters away while sun competes to pull them back towards us. These tides they call neap. Cancer rising, Leo sun, Scorpio moon, northern hemisphere. Oh, the end of this short, dark night. We find a half moon on high, but still low enough to the ground to feel her call. That waning shape, the closing of the cycle, the powers of the deep dive reminding us to find our way back from the darkness from our tunneling to come back to the surface to celebrate the rising sun. It soon comes. I'm reading a comment here and I appreciate it. So I want to receive this. Your intelligence is just beyond belief. Amazing. Thank you. What I'm trying to do here, though, is take us a little bit out of the mind and more into the heart. Let's play with another one in this earth-astronomical way. Lucy learns life, so Northern Hemisphere indeed. Pisces sun, Virgo moon, Capricorn rising, Northern Hemisphere. We're really loving these high moons. Where must I study if I wish to learn the language of the ancient ones? What light must I receive should I choose to walk the way of the true traditions that will preserve this place for the 7 future generations? How may I serve? How may I direct this compassionate spirit in such a way that makes a difference not only for one, but for the many and for all? Why read a book when I could read trees bark? Right. So they're getting actually a little bit more into utilizing some of the head. But I'll just say I love to start in this way. Let's do one more. So Capricorn sun, Aquarius rising, Leo moon. What rises first, Capricorn or Aquarius, friends? Capricorn, yes? Capricorn precedes Aquarius. So Capricorn sun, Aquarius rising. The sun has risen. But we're talking Northern Hemisphere, in fact, Dublin, right? Far north. And so Capricorn sun, it's a cold time of year. It's the end of a very long night or the beginning of a very short day. Now, if the Aquarius is rising, Leo is setting, so a Leo moon, right? I stand on wet grass, receiving the nourishment of the flower's moisture in these last moments of dew. Behold, moon in the northwest, reflecting this southeastern sun. As high as the moon was this night of mother's labor, so shall the sun be low. But I want to bring us into earth. I want to open more of that body-mind experience of these precious moments of a becoming. Before I get into all the delineations and talk about your Leo moon, suggest that you have a need for. Your Aquarius sun is fueling you with the spirit too. Your Capricorn sun is fueling you with the spirit too as you walk the path, as you rise into the essence of the Aquarian mystery school, you know. And I want to do all that too. Like I want to learn the language and speak it. But why not experience it first? And here's my question for you. What is first to experience nature? Is it the head or is it the heart? All right. Hey, before I go on there, let me just say that tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific time, so tomorrow, Thursday, Jupiter's Day, November 9th, 2023, where I reside at 2 p.m. Pacific time, so 5 Eastern, and do your maths to get to your time zone. For many of you, like those in Australia, it will be November 10th, yeah? As far as this Gregorian time zone divisional thing suggests. It will be November 10th in Melbourne, Australia, where the Cosmic Intelligence Agency is headquartered. And from that headquarters, we will hear the wisdom of Julia Simas. And from Portugal, of Luis Ribeiro. And I will add my contributions from here in California. Amazingly, Julia in Melbourne, Australia, 38 degrees south of the equator, where here in Richmond, I'm 38 degrees north of the equator. I meant to see where Portugal is in the whole latitude and longitude of the thing. And oh my gosh, like Lisbon is basically the same latitude where I am. So displaced around the earth, but the same distance north and south of the equator, 2 in the north and 1 in the south. Luis Ribeiro, Gemini Brett, Julia Simas will be speaking about the difficulty of trying to utilize our same astrological approach with the lunar nodes, given that in the northern hemisphere sky, they operate in reverse to what is experienced down under. So GeminiBrett.com/nodes, NODES, will take you right to the Zoom registration link where you can just register for free and join us live tomorrow, 2 p.m. Pacific time, November 9th, 2023. GeminiBrett.com/nodes. It's a conversation I'm very excited to have. It's always a gift to be able to connect with Julia Simas. And I have not yet met Luis Ribeiro, which I'm very excited about. His texts have been important for my journey. So please join us. Also next week on Wednesday, on Mercury's Day, November 14th, I'll be having some time live online with the great Merlin Rick Levine. That's going to be hosted at the Astrology Hub space. So the Astrology Hub's YouTube page. If you're on my mailing list, I hope to get off my booty and send out an email. If you're on my mailing list, you know you're not spammed by me often. Marketing, not really my thing, but I'm trying. And while I'm at it, hey, if you like the video, please like the video, share it around, all right? So why the head versus the heart, or the head and the heart, or the head marrying the heart? A few reasons. One is Venus has just come home. Venus ingressed Libra, tropical Libra this morning, the West Equinox point, the point that's due west of the center of the earth, which, by the way, is why those scales speak not only to our equinoctial experience when Sun ingresses tropical Libra, right? Equal hours of daylight and night. Depending on where you are, because the sun is a disk, not a point, but let's not get too tech. We're talking Libra, not Virgo. But importantly, 0 Libra, it's due west of the center of the earth, where we are all one. Look at the Libra glyph. It is the setting sun, the ultimate expression of westing, where night begins, where we can witness throughout the dark hours the marriage of heaven and earth, the stars falling to kiss the earth who's rising to meet them. 7th house and marriage, you see. And that is true of the West, regardless of whether you live in Sydney, Australia, or Dublin, Ireland. All right. But what about the North and the South? So cool. Join me on tomorrow, GeminiBrett.com/nodes, and we'll get to address that challenge of living in a world of 2 hemispheres. All right. So Venus has return to Libra, but it's Wednesday, it's Mercury's day, and so I want to talk about Mercury a bit, who is in the very late degrees of tropical Scorpio now. Mercury will ingress Sagittarius. Let's push buttons. On November 9th, 2023, 10:25 p.m. Pacific time. Well, let me just go to East Coast time, where it will be 1:25 a.m. on Friday, Venus's day. And here's Venus moving into Libra on Mercury's day, and Mercury moving into Sagittarius on Venus's day. Now, how are Libra and Sagittarius related? Like this. A hexagon is what we used to call the sextile, the sixth harmonic, a sixth division of the zodiac, yeah? So Aries, Gemini, Leo, Libra, Sagittarius, Aquarius, Aries, Gemini, Leo, Libra, Sagittarius, right? You know, those six, the air and the fire signs, the up and out. Now, while Venus is having a homecoming according to the ancient code, returning home to Libra, Mercury's doing anything but. Mercury's heading all the way across the world from his Gemini place to the sign of Sagittarius, where, at least in the medieval tradition, Mercury was said to be exiled. But the way that I'll say it is like this sextile, this hexagon, allows cooperation between Mercury and Venus. If Mercury is willing to have the journey, Sagittarius. Seek. Seeking is not believing. If we truly want to find balance and equilibrium and harmony, journey. Let's have a little musical experiment. I don't know how this will come through on these microphones, so I won't do it for long. This is a two-string monochord. Right? So these movable bridges will change the pitch. I currently have this bridge set up at the half point, which is the only thing that's actually kind of like shown on this instrument at all. This is like, by the way, how Pythagoras cracked the code, it's said. And you'll often see images of the ancient thinkers with the monochord. But are they thinkers or feelers? So if I cut this string in half, you know, each side of the string of the shorter string is the same length. Let me just play the whole string. That sounds nice. Kind of sounds like tambura. Now if I cut that string in half, oops, missed. Can you hear it? Can you feel it? Is it my mind that's telling me that these are not the same notes? Or is it my heart? What if I just move that much that way? Close. It's not exactly there. When I'm tuning, which I'm doing with my ear, when I'm trying to find that harmony and that balance, is that a head thing or a heart thing? Now, should I break out a ruler and measure where the exact halfway point of the string is to sound the second harmonic of it? Then it's very much mind, isn't it? Measurable. But it's the immeasurable, or the quality versus the quantity experience, that helps me feel something's off here, you know? All right, well, I currently have this thing set. Let's talk about measurable. That this is 2/3 the length of this. So 2 to 3. Twinkle, twinkle. Now, yikes! And I don't have a great ear, but that one's kind of easy to hear. All right, well, this now is 1/3 the length of this. So that's a 1 to 2. No, 1/3 the length of this whole string. Right, so this is 1/3 and this is 2/3. Hard to put that on the camera. And it's like, is it? Because those should resonate. That's an octave. Somewhere over the weird astrologer. Head and the heart. I was having a conversation with a friend today about what this conversation with Rick Levine next week should be called. And so he sent me, and it's like, what does music theory have to say about astrology? I'm like, dude, I think, no, that's going to like scare folks away. How about just stick with harmony of the heavenly spheres, which is what I suggested. And he's like, nah, it's no good for SEO. Right? Which, if you don't know, and God, I wish we could not. Those, and I don't even know what it stands for, but right, it's the kind of words you want to use so people are attracted, you know, through the algorithm, or I like to call the algorithm, right? Like the keywords that bring in this computer realm, right? Well, is that the head or the heart? And we found a place to go, which is like harmonic aspects and the harmony of the heavenly spheres. Because I guess that satisfies the SEO, but still I think is way more applicable to Rick and I are likely to share about, or at least what will launch our journey. Who knows where we'll go. Rick will go and I will try to follow. So SEO, right? Successful marketing keywords. Where's the heart in this? So why the head and the heart? One, just because Mercury and Venus are changing signs right now. So look, measurable and immeasurable. Could I tell, looking at the sky this morning, that Venus has just moved from Virgo into Libra? Frankly, what I see is the celestial lion, and then Venus. I saw the moon. You know, where is Libra? where is this point of the West Equinox point in space? I mean, unfortunately, in our day and age, there's a star that's pretty close with a wonderful name, Zavijava. It's very late degrees of tropical Virgo. And so I see Zavijava and I see Venus. But to even try to measure these plates, these whole signs, right? Like this is what's behind this kind of like constellational argument that the true astronomical astrology is just look at the constellations. You know, great. So do that. Where are you dividing them? Where are your borders? And I challenge any of y'all to be able to tell me, just looking at the sky, when that planet changed signs. You have to know where the stars are. And you have to know which zodiac to use in that regard too. So is that purely a quantitative thing? Some measurable thing? What is the immeasurable essence of this? What would I experience first? I mean, I'm looking at a chart. I'm seeing Venus move into Libra. That's all head stuff, you know? Am I feeling it? And even if I try to tell myself or try to share with you what I think I should feel or what you will feel as a result of Venus's homecoming, am I even giving myself an opportunity to feel at all? Or am I just mentally programming myself to have an experience I expect I should have? Do you feel me? Do you understand? What's the difference? Solve et coagula, break apart and put together. The head and the heart. Allow the heart to be headless. When you're crying, you don't have to know why. Don't distract yourself with the story. Give the holy water. Feel. Flow. Later, maybe bring the mind to that experience so you can attempt to know. The heartless head. Now, it can get us in trouble. Some people use the heartless head to convince themselves that it is only logical to save children by bombing children. Look, there are also potential pitfalls of the headless heart. Let the head be the head. Let the heart be the heart. You're in a scary situation, probably a good place for the head. I had an experience once with a friend going through customs together. And he was really, in a very racist way, profiling her. And asking her all these questions that he wasn't asking white me. But at the same time, as he was asking her these questions and she was saying to him, don't be so judgmental, that's not human. He's pulling all these things that she did not declare out of her bag, like figs and incense. And right, I'm just like, oh my God. And finally I'm like, hey, this is where you yes sir, no sir. And we get out of here. And then in the cab later, she's like, dude, how could you not scold him? How could you even tolerate? I was like, first of all, I hear you. I feel you. That's terrible. And when in this situation, so that I'm not then escorted to some back room, it's yes, sir, no, sir. But how could you possibly get out of your experience of it and just pretend like it's not happening? I'm not pretending it's not happening. I'm wondering how the hell this cat is acting this way, and I'm contemplating that astrologically. Just what kind of detriment of this man's moon might we find in the natal chart that allowed him to become this, And I don't want to live my life that way, but sometimes it can be helpful to ascend above the tidal waves of the heart and have a look. And astrology can offer this. Now, if astrology is utilized as a way out, put it, burn it. Don't do it. Right? But go out to come back in. Go out there and have a look from the dome of Olympus. You see Jupiter here, who throws the lightning bolts, brain. But we associate it more with his messenger, Mercury. For that's how we're receiving those bolts, Anyway, from on high, up in this space, far from the watery realms of the feels, I can take a look, and then maybe come back into my experience with some perspective. Now, solve, coagula, break apart, put back together. So you never want to exist in the realm of the heartless head or the headless heart exclusively, though I would suggest we develop each and then marry the two. And there's so much that I'm saying to myself and loved ones and in response in my work right now to folks who are coming in for counseling at these really heavy times. That I'm probably not going to say here. Actually, I know I'm not saying here. But I would just say that at this time, it's a very wonderful opportunity for us to find harmony between the head and the heart. And the head must seek. Questions are so much more interesting than beliefs. And the heart knows. But the heart knows what? How to do math? Right? Does the heart measure that length of string versus that length? No. The heart just knows that that's harmonic and in balance, and that's not. That doesn't necessarily make one good and the other bad. You know, but it's hard not to go. The heart's like, yum, yuck. The mind is like, oh, I don't like Brussels sprouts. Have you tried them? You know what I'm saying? The mind might measure that thing and then, oh, see, it sounds good. Well, no, why not just make it sound good and then measure the thing? This is quality and quantity, do you feel me? And in this case, Venus in Libra, we say, has strength. Mercury in Sagittarius, which will coming soon to a theater called You, we say does not. Amazing, the astronomy is interesting. Mercury's orbital path is extremely elliptical. It's just called eccentricity. And of course, Mercury, trickster, messenger, is rather eccentric. We should expect this. Mercury is closest to the sun in Gemini and furthest from the sun in Sagittarius. By the way, that's Earth zodiac, tropical zodiac, not constellations. But that's pretty hilarious because it's such a great support from a modern astronomical understanding of this orbital path of the code of ancient astrology that says Mercury's at home in Gemini and anything but in Sagittarius. Tomorrow, when Moon conjoins Venus, in the shamanic astrology mystery school tradition, this is the throat chakra gate of Inanna's descent. Opening a month of clearing the clutter that would keep us from hearing and from speaking truth. And the throat, of course, is between the head and the heart. What does your heart say? What does your head say? It's okay if they contradict. But how can we bring them to peace? What do your ears hear? What does your heart hear? Thanks for spending some time with me, y'all. Probably later today I'm going to get on and do a little bit of harmonic astrology analysis of Venus and Mercury today, or maybe at the time of the Moon-Venus conjunction. I hope you'll go out and see it with your eyes. By the way, Venus can... I don't know if that made me completely mute in this place. Sometimes that just ruins the scene. So you might not hear me on Instagram anymore. Over here you will. Venus is naked eye visible, so bright, brightest being besides Moon and Sun in our sky. And the greatest opportunity for you to be able to see Venus is when Moon is close by, because you'll know where to look. And tomorrow's Moon-Venus conjunction is incredibly close. Please wake up before the sun and see them in the dark sky before sunrise. But even by day, look to the moon tomorrow and she'll show you Venus if you look around that space. So see Venus by day. Something inside of your heart will change that hopefully plants a seed that will flower in the beautiful mind of yours. Thanks for spending some time. See you in space, y'all.